Namaste. I'm waiting for Andromeda flame to get on. We're going to do an energy work, clearing, manifesting, rejecting what no longer serves us, has never served us, based on the understanding that we deserve more. And we're going to start the energy work now. We're not going to wait for an hour.
Hi, good evening from
From upstate New York. So we're not going to wait. Please share the live. It's up to you. This is an energy work that we're doing. It's very important. A lot of you are being spiritually attacked. Some of you are aware of it. Some of you are not aware of it. Some of you are gaslighting yourself on it. You're not crazy. It's happening. It's happening in malevolent ways. Ways that would scare the shit out of you, but you can't be scared because there's nothing to be scared about. You go ahead, jump in whenever you want, my love.
Yeah, so the spiritual war that we've been talking about is happening. It's very much happening in a real way. A lot of us are facing challenges in our personal lives. We're seeing other people go through challenges. We're seeing people fall into despair. The reason that it is so important that we gather and we talk about this is so that we can dispel fear, so that we can give you the tools to effectively deal with this, to remain strong, and to continue to manifest the new earth.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I call the new earth. So the reason why we're doing this is because there are weird things happening. Some of you are highly, highly powerful as spirit souls in these mundane bodies that you inhabit. I'm going to say it, mundane. And because you're mundane and because you think you might be not powerful enough to make any massive change on the planet, some of you are breaching out of that illusion of I'm not enough or I'm not good enough to make changes on the planet. Some of you are rising out of the ashes like phoenixes. And because you're rising out of the ashes like phoenixes, better, bigger, more powerful than ever, there are powers, malevolent powers that are going to start attacking you. It's actually a good sign. Because if you were self-cutting, self-harming, all kinds of shit, they don't give a shit. They know that you're doing all the harm. They don't need to worry about you. But when you come out of those ashes, when you come out of that shit, of your own self-destruction, when you come out into your light, that's when you start getting attacked because now you become dangerous, okay? So this is, you're not being cursed. There's nothing, there's no family lineage. Please don't run to some dumbass psychic that's going to sell you $100 or $9,000 candles to get you out of it. We're going to give you power for free because that's how it's supposed to be, okay? And what we're going to do is a massive healing session. It's going to last a half hour. We welcome you to, please, if you think you want to save the planet, if you want this to be 5D, please share the live, because I'm not making a dime, okay? When I do a live, I make 5 cents, big bloody deal. So if you can share so other people can benefit from what we're about to do, because I don't think we're going to be doing this again for a while. All right, just so you know. All right, so my beautiful sister, my beautiful Andromeda, you go first and then I'll do the chanting. And we will do a series of chants for 6 minutes. And please be patient. Chanting is power. All right, my love, go for it.
Chanting is power. So if everybody takes a few deep breaths, visualize Earth, where all inhabitants benefit. As we open with the Gayatri mantra, a very powerful mantra of homage, humility, and love. tatsadityam bhagavadivasim dimahidyoyona bhagavadaya.
Om Radha Krishnaya Namaha. Om Radha Krishnaya Namaha. Om Kaliya Namaha Swaha. Om Kali Durga Swaha. Om Radha Krishnaya Namaha Krishna Kaliya. Om Radha Krishna. Om Kaliya Durga Swaha. Krishna, Krishna, Radha, Radha, Krishna. Love is our birthright, to be one on this planet. Pachamama, I love you. I finally see the world that could be. I finally see the world that's been promised to me. I love you, oh Radha Krishnaya Namaha. Om Radha Krishnaya Namaha. I see every footsteps is God. God walks beside me, surrounds me, for I am the taste of water, oh Krishna, Buddha, Mary, Yeshua, Archangel Michael, and Metatron, Raphael and Gabriel. We consent to the new earth, the new earth. for all our brothers and sisters. Om, 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 Shanti, Shanti. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
can sense the divine beings of light protect us. Archangel Michael, Raphael, Ariel, Yeshua, Mary Magdalena, Mother Mary, Saint John. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We do not consent to any dark energy. We do not consent to any reptilian or draconian energy. We do not consent to any demonic energy. In this current incarnation, concurrent incarnation, previous incarnations, future incarnations, in any times, places, spaces, or dimensions, we do not consent. It is done.
It is done.
Each one of us needs to be strong at this time, fearless in our pursuit and manifestation of the new earth. Breathe deeply as we of our 15 ascension chakras, breathing into each of these chakras, strengthening our auric field, our protection. About 6 inches below your feet, a Merkaba spinning. This is your Earth Star chakra, your connection to Pachamama. Feel the energy of the earth below your feet, spreading up your legs into your root chakra, spinning clockwise, feeling the energy from your Earth Star, feeling the energy of Pachamama, spinning, healing, and expanding your root chakra as the energy moves upwards to your sacral chakra, spinning clockwise, expanding, removing any shame about your creative or sensual energy. As the energy moves up to your Hara chakra, a beautiful golden sun of unconditional love, spinning clockwise, expanding and healing as that energy moves upwards to your solar plexus. Spinning clockwise, expanding. You are powerful. You have the tools and the will to manifest the new earth. As this energy moves up into your heart chakra, the center of the chest, spinning clockwise and filling with healing white light, expanding outwards and upwards to your heart, where you feel the unconditional love of source energy, expanding, spinning clockwise, warming, loving. As the energy moves up to your throat chakra, allowing you to speak and express the truth and recognizing that in others, spinning clockwise, expanding, healing. Any incarnations where you have been punished for speaking your truth are healed with the energy from these divine beings and from Pachamama. up to the ultimate chakra around your nose. You can see through the illusion. As this chakra spins clockwise, you can see things for what they really are. You recognize what is and what is not. This energy moves upwards to your third eye chakra, spinning clockwise, expanding, enhancing your spiritual vision. You trust your intuition. As the energy moves upwards to your crown chakra, at the top of your head, spinning clockwise, a beautiful golden light increases your crown chakra, allowing you to receive divine wisdom. And this will come down through your upper transpersonal chakras. First, the causal chakra, just above and behind your head, your personal moon, spinning clockwise with a beautiful white blue light. Any past life or generational trauma healed through the causal chakra as we accept and surrender to divine will in this incarnation. Moving upwards to the soul star chakra, another gateway of divine love, divine knowledge, through which your soul can ascend and receive that wisdom. Another 6 feet up, the stellar gateway, a beautiful silver globe, allowing you to receive the wisdom and the downloads from your star family as they protect, nourish, and arm you with everything that you need to know. And as high as you can imagine, the solar junction, the sun, your gateway to wisdom, to light, to truth. Feel the energy rising up through each of these chakras. You are bigger than this world. And feel the energy coming from your heart. The downloads you receive, intend that they come into your heart so that you discern what is real and what is not. We have withdrawn our consent for any reptilian energy, any reptilian shape-shifting energy. We will receive these downloads of pure, loving knowledge from Source, and we will take them into our hearts. And this is how we will live this incarnation as we go towards the ascension and enlightenment. You feel this energy. And then this energy. You feel how much your energy has expanded, allowing it to infuse your auric field, this beautiful bubble of protection. As we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. It is done.
Feel what's happening in your body. And then we're going to talk about what's prevented you from stepping into trusting. When we use the word power, we'll have to explain what that means, because power gives you the maybe vision of something that is strong, tall, muscular. You can be the most petite thing and have power. And you could be the most shy, withdrawn human in this, incarnation and hold power. This is why the one of 1,000 names gave us all kinds of archetypes, from Kuan Yin to Athena to Isis to Lilith, right? The list goes on of the feminine archetypes. Hera, Kali, Durga, and the list goes on and on and on of feminine, different types of feminine archetypes of power. And we understand that many of you don't feel ready. One is never ready for massive change. It's never convenient, nor is it ever ready. It's never convenient to die, and it's never convenient to be born. It's never convenient to have a baby or to lose someone you love. You're never ready. So you better get used to never being ready. And then you realize as you cross those thresholds that there's transformation that is burning an old idea of your limitations. And there is urgency here now. I'm going to use a very bad example, and usually sometimes I throw in bad things for the right reasons. The German chancellor who created the World War II, the H guy, interesting, H, was mediocre in every respect, absolutely mediocre. I mean, really nothing charismatic. Funny how that came up. That's good.
Not funny, yeah.
Just pay attention to what I'm saying. Exactly, right? So that was a sign for you guys to pay attention to what I'm saying. So here was a mediocre man who convinced Germans to do what they did. Okay, basically had them on a spell. There's nothing charismatic. Don't drink the Kool-Aid that he was incredible. Watch him speak. There was nothing extraordinary. He was a nut. So if a mediocre person can move people to evil, can you imagine if you think you're mediocre, what you can do? Let's just go with what you think about yourself. Do you understand? But you're not mediocre, or else you wouldn't have the patience to listen to this live. And if you notice, there's a handful. Are there 10? When I say handful, I'm actually probably not kidding. Yeah, 12. Or 12 disciples. Interesting. But a handful of you are here. So there must be something about your patience and willingness and hunger and urgency for massive change. And it's time for you to go out there and go speak. Go out there and be like Johnny Appleseed and scatter the seeds of knowledge. The tree of knowledge. The forbidden fruit, right? We've always been pushed to be afraid of knowledge. Why? Because that was written by the elite. Okay, Constantine was the beginning of the elite, boot on our throats. So now that you no longer consent to, and consent is a multiple spectrum. Consent is, I do not consent. Consent is, I do not consent from fear, from anger, from subjugation, from doing what I'm told, being a good little boy or good little girl. These are all forms of consent. And so when you become irreverent to authorities that tell us what to do that feels wrong in your heart, it's time to speak out.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I completely agree that we have to have irreverence for authority. Authority on this planet was really brought to us by the Anunnaki and their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a good agenda. This was agenda of control, of geno, of subjugation. And in a very real way, we are being subjugated by authority figures who have an agenda on this planet to stop us from ascending. You cannot ascend if you're in the energy of fear. And everything about our society is designed to nurture that energy of fear. Whether it is fear of punishment, whether it's fear of poverty, fear of starvation, fear of war, fear of destitution, we are still ruled through fear. And not consenting means that you do not consent to their agenda of fear.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you speak up, when, for example, there's this fear that if you vote for, I'm just going to get political because it's important, because what the fuckery that's happening is happening in the Senate floor. Your groceries are expensive by design to fuck with your head. Everyone's now talking about it. That's why in January they want to remove TikTok, because that was the last bastion where we could talk. By design. Everything's by design. Poverty is by design. Famine is by design. It has never been otherwise. Never. Ever. Okay? Droughts are by design. Failing crops are by design. Everything is by design. In the crash of 1929, there are old footages of them spilling gallons upon hundreds of thousands of gallons of milk, spilling it over by design. It's time for you guys to really realize that your voice is powerful, and your silence is consent. When you are silent, you're consenting. Believe me, because you know what's going on, but you're saying nothing. That's consent. And the cat agrees. The cat down the road, Infinite Waters, to give him credit. So the the chanting, okay, the chanting that is there is powerful. Kali chant mantras, Shiva mantras, Krishna Radha mantras. All of these mantras are really cool, especially if you're being spirit. You might actually be waking up with cuts on your body. I'm not kidding. We don't talk about it too often because it scares people. But there are some of you that need to hear that. There could be shit you're seeing from the corner of your eye. Don't gaslight yourself. It's happening. They would not be attacking you, and there would be no spiritual attacks unless you were on the right road. And what is happening is that many people get so I mean, like literally shitless scared, that they go right back to 3D. So the bridge between 4D and 5D is going to be an onslaught of spiritual attacks. And as you get spiritually attacked, know this, my friend, you're on the right path. Keep going. Keep going through the tsunami, through the arrows, through the persecution, through losing friends, all of that. Keep going down that narrow passageway, and we'll meet you there. We'll meet you there. On the other side, you will see, and you will be in 5D consciousness, and all of this reality that is, again, everyone's talking about it. It's a holographic universe. It's all consciousness, collective conscious agreement that creates it. The 1% know it. They've studied it. Rhonda Burns in her documentary, The Secret, talks about it in the very beginning of her documentary, The Secret. It has been known. It has been used against us for thousands of many of our incarnations here. Some of you have had a few hundred incarnations. Some of you have just started incarnating here, your star seeds. Some of you have had millions of incarnations here, believe it or not, in different forms of life, right? Whatever it is, there's been, the animals are being subjugated, nature is being subjugated, waters are being subjugated, everything needs to be left in its own way to thrive in its own manner. The one of 1,000 names, you call him God, the universe, whatever, created this planet with perfection. Free will is a gift that was given to us. Now, the fact that people want to use their free will to be evil to other people, don't blame God for that bullshit. That's free will in action. That's human beings being shitty. Human beings using free will for the wrong reasons, for greed. There's an exercise I'm going to ask you to do, and then I want you to share it. And it's an exercise that is going to show your consciousness to yourself. Then I'll give you the answer. Okay? And I've been doing that recently, and I'm shocked at some of the answers. So here it is. Close your eyes. You have $177 billion. $177 billion. I don't want to ask you what you're going to do with it. I want you to write down on this live, what would you do with $77 billion? What would you do with $77 billion? You still have $100 billion. You'd be fine for the rest of your life and 5 generations out. What would you do with $77 billion? And give me the answer on the comments. Go ahead and comment what you would do. Okay, what would you do with that? Just whatever comes to mind. That's an important exercise, because either you've got the answer or you don't understand the question, and the answer will be bizarre. First thought, I'd give it away. No, but that's not, why would you give it away? Why would you give it away? Some comments in the live were filtered to protect. It's funny how money really generates all kinds of crazy ideas. Make sure people have clean water. Is that all? What would you do with $77 billion? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Do better. Make sure that people have clean water. I would insure it. Help the homeless and lower poverty people. How would you do that, Yessie? Give it back. Give back. Yes. Okay. Build community. There you go, Beth. That's the answer. There's you go. You got 100 million. You've got $100 billion left, right? You've got that in the bank. You're fine. 77 billion. What would you do? You would build communities. That's right. You would build homes. You would build solar systems. You would make waters clean. $77 billion could change the face of this planet, much less this country. But let's just say the face of the planet would be changed overnight. And there are powers that be that would never allow you to do it.
Yeah.
However, you would have groups of people who would help you get it done. Last thing you want to do is donate it to a charity. Last thing on the fucking planet is you want to donate it to any research societies against C, the big C, or anyone. You will to the Red Cross. Wrong answer. But you would build communities. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you would want to do. Perfect. And fix the infrastructure and build. Beautiful. Love it. That's the right answer. Giving it away is not it. Building communities is it. And the people who you would have some bad apples, but eventually you would have this community of people who would follow the Ubuntu, the South African philosophy, as if you hurt, we all hurt. Let's see what's going on. But there are people who aren't meant to be in communities. I'm just going to be blatant, straight up. There are people who are sociopaths, psychopaths. They're not invited. We would have communities built for people like you and your consciousness, your beauty, your generosity, your abundance for everyone. Now, let me just say this. Jeff Bezos has $177 billion. Elon Musk has something close to that sum. I could go down the list, but I think you know the list better than me. Poverty is by design. None of them have lifted a finger to do one fucking thing. Not for Maui when it burned, not for the homelessness, what's happening. Oprah is more than happy to give you blankets, but she won't write a check for $10 billion. Now, J.K. Rowling's, unfortunately, because she doesn't have that contract, but she gave a lot of her, she was a billionaire. She's down to a few hundred million. So I'll never spend all it, but she gave it away is the problem. Best thing you can do is roll up your sleeves and get involved. And know that you are the change you've been praying for. You are the change. No one's going to fix this except you, me, and as many people as we can gather in this conversation of conscious abundance. It's a conscious abundance that we're looking at to create. You understand? Money's not the root of all evil, people are. Money is a liberator. Money cleans water. Money gives away free medicine to anyone who needs it. Does that make sense? And so the infrastructure has to be torn down for this to happen. Because if you had $177 billion and you gave away you actually created these things, you'd have actually governments going down your throat to prevent you from doing it. Mark my word. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Any comments?
No, and history confirms that.
And that is what we're living in. We're living in a system where you would do this and they would the IRS, all of them would be down your throat. But you'd still do it because you'd have attorneys on the payroll. Kind of like the NAACP when they had attorneys on the payroll. Right? Everything takes effort. Every single massive change takes effort. It's uncomfortable. It's never the right timing. Someone you love is dying. Someone you care about is on their way to your house because they're going to be homeless and you're going to give them your bed, your couch, whatever. Do you understand? Or you're gathering up groceries from a family down the street that you know doesn't have food. You just know, right? Because they're you know what I mean? There are things that you need to understand when you are corrupt, when this government starts arresting homeless people. So to be poor is a crime. When poverty becomes a crime, when porta potties and showers aren't, delivered to homeless people, when when people who are feeding homeless people are arrested for 100 times. There are people who actually go against the machine, and every time they set up table to feed, they're trying to feed like 500-600 people, but by the time they've fed 100, the cops are coming to arrest them. When all of that is normalized as law, then you and I both know that it's time to become the Johnny Appleseeds. Scatter your seeds, see what grows and what doesn't, isn't meant to. But let's gather as many people to the ascension as possible so that we can topple the systems that are in place right now. They are not kind, they are not generous, they are greedy, and they're getting, actually, it's almost over. So when you're being spiritually attacked, and when you have people you love dropping their bodies, it's because, I'm going to tell you honestly, it's because some of them can't handle this shit. Number one, emotionally. And two, they're going to be more powerful helping you on the other side, and they will assist you. They will come back to assist you. Many of you know what I'm talking about, and you know who I'm talking to about this. So some crossed over, got to see the light, got to see all of this magnificence of the potential of this planet, in fact, the future of this planet, and they're coming to help you. Ask not just on your guidance systems, but you need to start doing energy work every day. Andromeda, please explain to them.
Yeah, at the moment, with the way things are, if you're not in, if you're not robust in your consciousness, okay, as in you can be easily swayed by what other people are doing or external things, you need to be doing. You need to be doing this stuff multiple times a day, right? You need to be doing protection twice a day. You need to be saging twice a day. You need to be doing chakra work 5 times a day, okay? To get yourself into the strength, the power. It's not about your muscles. It's not about your muscles on this body. It's about your spiritual muscle, okay? And it's about your self-belief and your unshakable your unshakable commitment to yourself, to the new earth, and to building a community that works for everybody, all inhabitants. And I'm not just talking about humans, I'm talking about animals, I'm talking about plants, I'm talking about this beautiful planet which we have been gifted, which we are destroying through greed, through sociopathy. And it is by design. And you said there's no such thing earlier, Tony. You said there's no such thing as a drought. You know, the weather changes on this planet. We know that. But the issues that come from drought are due to the enclosure of ancestral waters. It's to do with detaching people from the land. And this is the way empires have operated, by detaching people from their traditional practices, from their land, from their ability to rotate crops, deal with fluctuations in the weather. And this is what has led to disease, to DEATHS on a mass scale. And the effect of that on us, the effect of that on our collective consciousness, bring us into the energy of fear. And we're here to say, no more. You're not going to do that to us. You can fuck off.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you made. Like, I've said this before, where I was being attacked or visited, attacked, whatever you want to call it, by weird gargoyle, like weird images, weird shit. Believe me, I'm not on drugs or anything like that. They just come. They're there to fuck with you. And they're there to do it just to throw you off and go, oh my God, it's the devil. Tarot cards are the devil. Oh my God, meditation mantras are the devil. So they run back to these orthodox, I'm sorry, fucked up religions that have only created war and dissent and massive suffering that we're still trying to rip off our skins collectively. these awful, awful things that happened during the Inquisition in the name of God, that kind of shit. Let me go back to that. I'm sorry, what is the devil again? Tell me again, please trust that if they're out to fuck you, you're kicking some massive ass in terms of ascension. Because the ones that are self-destructive, the ones on drugs, the ones that are gambling or porning their life away, they don't give a shit. They don't have to worry. Oh, dude, you don't have to worry about it. No, sweetie, you think we should go after him? No, he's doing it. Look, he's self-cutting, he's self-harming, he's having indiscriminate sex. He's fine. We don't have to worry about him. But her, look, she's waking up. See her? Yeah, let's go get her. And the sad part is, you'll see them. Like Doreen Virtue was one. Oh my God, I'm going to go back to Catholicism. Why? Because if Catholicism really, really wanted us to all be kumbaya, one people under one roof of abundance and grace and love and peace for all, they would open their fucking libraries in the Vatican. Let's be honest. Okay? It's an elitist game, but played by these people for 2 solid 1,000 years. They took Yeshua's word and bastardized the whole thing, and the Essenes were so frightened that the truth would be burned, which it was. They buried urns that they knew one day we would find by accident, by excavation, whatever, and we still are. So we have been told that the meek shall inherit the earth. Probably the only damn thing they said that was true. And we're not meek. We're peaceful, loving people. We want abundance. We're not greedy. We're not warriors out to hurt other people for our own pleasures. So if you want to call meek softness and kindness and generosity, then yeah, we're about to inherit the whole fucking game. And the 1% know it. And so you're going to get spiritually attacked. Start looking up David Icke. Half the shit, unfortunately, he has said has come true, and it keeps unraveling. And he was talking about this stuff. Watch his movie, his documentary, Renegade, and watch it. Yeah, watch Renegade. That's your homework, my beautiful sisters and brothers. Watch Renegade on Gaia.com. See what this man went through to tell us the truth, and he was laughed at for forever. And unfortunately, now here we are looking at CEOs of Nestle saying that water is not a human right. He quoted on camera. Not AI, on camera. Water is not a right. Okay? When you have a human being who's allowed to continue walking the planet thinking that water is not a right, and yet there's a fantastic quote in the Vedas, in the Bhagavad Gita, by Krishna saying, I am the taste of water. Now, understanding the power of water and how it becomes, it's a chameleon of your own energies, right? So when you take showers and bath, use your mantras. Do not take a bath and cry it out. Worst thing you can do with water. Make sure that you use water as your ally to create massive power. Mantra, meditate, chant by water. A body of water, I don't care if it's your bathtub, your shower, the ocean, the lake, a stream, I don't care. Use water as your ally. You want to add anything, my love? My beautiful sister?
No, I'm just listening. I completely agree. Remember what water is. Water's a gift. We have so much water on this beautiful planet.
Yeah.
And the depth of the ocean, humans, we can't even fathom.
Yep.
The depth of the ocean, the beauty of water, the cleansing properties of water. Use it. Feel it washing your chakras. Feel it energizing your auric field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are all beautiful sisters and brothers who, listen, I'm not perfect. That's for damn sure. I have what I call righteous anger. If I didn't have righteous anger, my friends, I would be absolutely in a fetal position, massively depressed and in despair. For me, anger, meaning rage against the machine, is what gets me out of bed. Some of you don't need that. Some of you are Kuan Yin energy, like Andromeda is a Kuan Yin energy. I'm a Kali energy. Understand your role and embrace it. I don't apologize for how I come off. I don't have the fucking time. I want this planet right. I want to right the wrongs. Part of one of the issues I'm dealing with on my own In some of my incarnations, I was brainwashed. I was a nun. I was a warrior. I was fighting for senators who didn't give a fuck about my soldiers, my men. I've done things that I should have put more thought in. I was asleep. I was covered over, like many of our armed forces are. They're covered over. They don't have a fucking clue, and it's not their fault. But the more of you wake up, the more you will understand the concept of the 100 monkey theories. And I have had too many clients come to me and say, I just woke up February 2023 and I've read all these books and I'm like shook. I'm shook. I can't go back. Like I can't unsee what I saw. And at that point, a person like that was put to sleep for a reason, woke up from the dream of illusion, and yeah, you are going to get spiritually attacked, and it's okay. It means you're doing well.
Yeah.
You might see shit in the mirror. You might, by the way, don't put a mirror by the foot of your bed. There's all kinds of shit you should know. If you don't know, ask me or an Andromeda. We'll answer the question for you. There's certain things you don't do because you don't want to open portals. Because once you become powerful, yeah, you can open portals. Okay, yeah, and just go ahead, Andromeda. Tell them what happened to you last year about the. Just tell them, because I think we need to just become very, very transparent with some.
Yeah. I mean, I was not in a great place, but I was going through a massive dark night of the soul, and I was waking up with bruises, scratches all over my body, and I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized through meditation, through intuition, that I was being spiritually attacked, and the only way I was going to stop being spiritually attacked was first by not being afraid, and second by working on my own strength. And I was lucky. I was able to talk to my twin about this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has that, but this is why we need to build this kind of community, because there are going to be some of you out there who are waking up with unexplained bruises, scratches. You're going to be having, dreams, what you think are just dreams, where you're fighting or where you're hearing things. They're not dreams. It's happening.
It is
right?
happening.
It's just happening in a different dimension. And understanding that actually, if you're being attacked, it's because you're noticeable now. It's because you're visible. It's because you're becoming a threat.
Exactly.
To them. And the more of us who awaken, and the more of us who have these conversations, the easier it is going to be for those who are coming through the ascension, who are getting similar spiritual attacks. And it's really, really, you're right. It's really important to be transparent about these things, because you're not going crazy. You're not going crazy. This is happening. And Jennifer's asked, what would it mean when attacks stop? I use sacred space every day. It can mean several things, Jennifer, and step in, Tony, as well. But firstly, you're protecting yourself. You're learning how to protect yourself. If you're opening the four corners and above and below, that's like putting an iron bubble around yourself. They're not going to get through that. But also, when you reach a certain vibration and you're not in the energy of fear, you're very difficult to reach. It's when you're on the up, that's when they'll get you.
Yeah. It's interesting because the schemata, what is it? How do you say it again? Mail that off. When Andromeda Flame is sharing with you about waking up with bruises and cuts and scratches and all that, we see that in Catholicism, because when you have what is it called again? Schemata. Stigmata. Yes. So that's the bleeding of the palms and the feet, and this and that. Oh, everyone's excited. Oh my God, it's a sign. Yeah, it's a sign. Shit's not well. Okay. Many of you may have different ideas about that, but I still feel, to me, the way a benign, beautiful, loving soul would come through is in the sky, in visions like, in fact, the Madonna of Lourdes, for example, in the sky, in a tree. Buddha Boy was another thing that came up. Ganesh went through 2 days, 48 hours, where Ganeshas all over the fucking world in the 80s. One of my clients is Hindu, and his mother remembers that. CNN had it, ABC, and all the alphabet channels all over the world. Where in the 80s, Ganesha, people were bringing milk to Ganesha and they drinking. There's nothing behind the Ganesha statues, drinking the milk. And that was a miracle in the Hindu Vedic type of, traditional values. Okay? So when things need massive change, the divine beings will come with divine messages. They never come in with blood.
No.
When blood comes in, something's wrong. Okay, I'm just going to be straight up. Something's not right. If you're bruised or battered or scratched, and don't be afraid. Just bloody hell, sage your house. Learn the four corners above and below. It's really simple. It's really simple. Practice shit now while things are good. So when the shit hits the fan, you're pulling out your sage, or you're like, yeah, fuck you, game on. And you're coming through the room with your drum or your cymbals or your frequency wands, and you're binging through the whole house and clapping noises and doing your saging and saying, get the fuck out of here. And by the way, yeah, that's it. Just like that. Get the fuck out of here. And then you keep chanting a mantra and they will leave. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is, when when you're on the ascension path, when you're, I guess it's when you're going into the Philippines, and you're a bit vulnerable because you're a little bit shaky. You're not entirely sure about all of this. Some people have doubts that they're on this journey at all.
yes.
Just hold steady. Just hold steady.
You must stay, stay the line. So somebody's, Rachel just said, my mom used to tell me as a child, my hands and feet bled. And then Carpet said, mediums commune with unclean spirits. That's not true. Not all mediums commune with unclean spirits. A lot of mediums that are saying the wrong things. Yes, I agree with that. There are too many who are doing this. They're remote viewing to tell someone, is Bobby cheating on me, and using remote viewing. That's a big fucking no-no. Good luck. I had a client who actually did a love spell on someone and brought in a demonic spirit. Yeah, they exist. When you do a Ouija board, any of us who are spiritualists who've done a Ouija board, most of us were 14 by the time we did it, by the way. 14, we did it and we never did it again. You couldn't pay me 100 grand to put a Ouija board in my house. Ask any real spiritualist and they'll tell you the same. The people that dabble in shit like that play little games, that play little voodoo tata games. By the way, voodoo originally is in Africa, but it became mixed with Catholicism, just on the side note, in South America and so forth. Santerias, this and that. Whenever there's a blood ritual, it is not in the right direction, because the one of 1,000 names would never, ever desire that from us, ever. So when you read the Old Testament, you kind of know who's talking. Okay? Yeah. The God of the Old Testament is an Anunnaki. That's obvious. I mean, if you don't figure that out yet, I don't know what to say. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, vengeful, brutal.
Yeah, and religions, right? As you call them, Abrahamic religions, were based on that very thing. God, you were born with sin. All of this self-loathing shit that we've been brainwashed to believe for generations of our own incarnations, jumping from a Chinese incarnation to a Japanese incarnation to a Norwegian incarnation, and going through all these different types of belief systems that never really valued our beauty, not truly. And so now we are being asked to love ourselves with unconditional love. And if you can't love all parts of yourself with unconditional love, then at least then take some parts of you that you can honestly, genuinely love about yourself. Maybe I don't know, whatever it is that rocks your world, and you go, you know what? I rock at this. I love that about me. Great. But in the interim, until you can love yourself fully, then I suggest you pull out a picture of you as a little boy, little girl, and start working on that. You know what I mean? Working on that. The Ouija board, I could tell you all some wild stories as a teen. That's giving away your power. No need to stress. So, any other questions or comments? Does anybody have anything to say? Would you like me to do an oracle card or not? Andromeda.
I think the main, I think that the main message is to stay away from fear. Any fear that comes in, transmute it. Because fear is not a divine energy. It will lower your vibration, it will make you vulnerable, and it will make you miserable.
Yeah, it will make you miserable. We did, before we did this live, which was impromptu, based on many things that were being shared. I saw a wall of prismatic light that would surround you, and you could put your hands through it, of course, but no negative energy could actually enter it. The prismatic light that's about 3 foot wide, right, thick actually, surrounds the planet Earth, and we are now expelling all negative forces, all Anunnaki, all demonic beings, humans who believe that this is the way to go, that this is where power lies. We are expelling them, and they're being transmuted on the other side by universal law, universal love, and transmutation of this energy. So I'd like you to, when you feel off, go ahead and visualize this prismatic wall of light that's like water, like beautiful misty wall. It's gorgeous. It's like crystalline energy that protects you from these malevolent energies. And just know that you are going to have to do some work. Now, if you can take a shower every day, right? If you don't, I don't know what to say to you, but if you take a shower every day, you should be able to work on your chakras every day. If you can't do 5 times a day, which I think is not crazy, Andromeda is not asking something crazy. I do it in the car, at a stoplight, in my shower, in the morning as I wake up, when I feel weird energies, whatever, I work on my chakras and I call on the archangels that resonate with me personally, right? So whatever they are for you. Let me see. That's how I feel like we're in our own safe bubble, because you've been doing the 4 corners above and below, right? Because when we told you to do that, you said that there was a massive, you were able to sleep, everything was, there was a massive shift in your household once you did the 4 corners above and below. The 4 corners above and below is used by shamans all over the world. If they know what they really are shamans and not charlatans. And these shamans will open sacred sage everyone, sage themselves, everyone, and the room, and you can't leave the room. Typically, you can't leave the room because you're taking sacred medicine. But if you do the 4 corners, the intention is connected to you, and you don't have, you've got the house covered, basically. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments, Andromeda?
No,
Jim?
the 4 corners is incredibly powerful, and do look it up, but don't be too prescriptive about it. It's all about intention, and I call in the archangels, but I also call in Yeshua.
Yeah.
Because for me, Yeshua's energy is the most comforting, protective, beautiful energy of love.
Yeah.
Read up on the archangels, read up on the ascended masters, find out what resonates with you, and it will change depending on what your needs are at any particular time. But do get used to doing protection twice a day.
I agree. And twice a day is a minimum.
Yeah.
And still, and you'll say, well, that doesn't work. I had a fight with my boyfriend, or I had a fight with my husband, or I had a fight with my girlfriend. The fight could have been way worse. And fighting is usually fear. Usually when people fight, there's something massively that's bothering them. They feel like they don't have any control over their life, which guess what? They don't. Because if you have to punch the clock to pay your rent, to buy groceries, you don't have control over your life. You don't. If 9 hours or 10 hours of your time is spent working for others, how is that you controlling your life? It's not. So of course, sometimes you're going to have meltdowns, or your person's going to have a meltdown, because it feels there's a level of despair that falls over us. But you see, we don't have to worry about that anymore because this is almost over. Actually, it's over. Let me reword that, because time is a 3D linear agreement. It's over. We need to show up to the appointment. We all have a divine appointment with ascension, and you can miss your appointment or make your appointment. That's where your free will is going to be a double-edged sword, because many people self-sabotage because you don't feel worthy. I'm gonna straight up. I don't have time for you to not feel worthy. Fuck feeling worthy. Just show up to the damn appointment. We'll work out how to make you feel worthy. Okay? But show up to the appointment. And then we'll help you feel worthy of being at the table of ascension. Does that make sense? In other words, I want you to flip this on the wall. I don't feel worthy. I'm just not ready. I don't know. I've done such bad things in this incarnation, and I've had a past life where, no, I don't give a shit. Please stop that shit. Please, I'm begging you. Show up at the divine appointment. Okay? We'll work out your unworthiness once you're in 5D. How's that for an idea? And what's interesting is that it will fall away. But no more bullshit. No more, oh shucks me, I'm not good enough. Please, that's enough already. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for us in the collective vibrational field. We need everyone to show up. And many of you who have listened to this or will listen to this in the near future are listening to this because you are part of the divine appointment to bring many to awaken in this particular timeline. It is time for you to release your throat chakra from self-loathing, self-harm, false humility and shyness. False. The ego is a double-edged sword. One is arrogance and one is humility, false humility. Those two are not good. Okay? Arrogance can be something that subjugates other people, and self-aggrandizement is a problem with it, and false humility is hiding in the shadows and not feeling like anything you say. Both will victimize other people who could benefit from your magic and the way you spin words. So some of you will bring people out of the shadows through your art, your writing, your voice, your singing, your dancing, your creative output. Some of you will do it through law. Actually, how you exercise law. Some of you will do it as psychologists and nurses, how you handle people who maybe need a nugget of wisdom, and you will plant the seed, like Johnny Appleseed, you will plant a seed that will grow, a tree of knowledge. And that's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're here to do. The tree of knowledge, tree of life, and spreading that. And yeah, the throat chakra, that now is not the time to be silent. I'm very shy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely shy. And I've had to overcome that. If I can overcome it, all of you can too.
Exactly.
So don't allow your ego
to
get in the way. And if you weren't ready, you wouldn't be here.
Exactly. You would not be here. You've been divinely guided to. This was a divine appointment. It was Andromeda Flame that I wanted to do on TikTok because we were going to do it on Zoom. And she's the one that decided. She said, I think we need to do it on TikTok because we don't know, right? Who needs to hear this? And here you are. So we all had a divine appointment with all of you. Okay? And we've done our work. Now you need to do yours. Okay? Stop playing with fear. Oh, I want to vote Trump out. I want to vote Biden out. Vote third party. Make fucking changes. It's working in Europe. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's so sick of the bullshit that now they're going third party independent. They don't give a fuck. Vote with your heart, not your monkey mind. Do things, and you go, oh, well, how does that have to do with ascension? Everything. We don't want the infrastructure anymore. So we need leaders who don't want it either. People who want things for the greater good, and they're out there. There is true leadership that are reluctant leaders. Many of you are reluctant to lead. You think I want to lead this kind of conversation? You think I'm thriving making these kinds of lives? You think it benefits me in any way? Yes, spiritually it does, but certainly not financially. I'm sorry, I'm going to be transparent. It doesn't. I do it because I am a gardener, as you are, and I am planting trees, fruit trees. Fruit I will never ever eat because, but in this incarnation, but I may benefit in maybe 5, 6 generation. I will return on this planet. I hope I will because I love this planet. I just don't like the people running it. Let's not forget that. I hear too many of you say, I'll never come back here. I hate this place. No, no, this place is awesome. You hate the people running it. Make sure you understand the difference between hating a place because of how it's run and hating a place because the energy is wrong. There's nothing wrong with this planet. It's the most diverse, gorgeous planet in many of the planets. Trust me, I know. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I get people remembering past lives on planets that are very homogeneous. The people all look alike. Some of these planets are fucking arid, okay? Just arid as fuck. This is an amazing planet. And so what you want to say is, I will come back again and again, 5D, 6D, planet Earth. I love this planet. And this system that I now visualize is a system of 5D consciousness and generosity and abundance for all. And this may sound, what is the word? Pollyanna, very, very like naive. It's not, because actually this planet was taught to war by, right? Andromeda?
Yep.
War was brought here. There was no war. This was a heavenly planet until these forces came to do their fuckery. Okay? So war is an imported thing. Okay? We didn't create war, they did. And it became an amazing way to control people for centuries. I mean, right? Thousands of years.
Millions of years, yeah. I mean, if you look at the galactic wars, we're talking about millions of years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Letty says, I'm voting third party. Lumeria, I'm blessed where I live and the life I have, want more of this. And we want more of this for everyone. Make sure that you finish your sentences. I'm sorry if I'm calling you guys a little bit today. And I know you want more of this for everyone. When you desire something, desire it for everyone. That is 5D consciousness. Don't just say, I want this, no, I want it for everyone. It is every human right. It is for everyone to have a beautiful home, fantastic food, beautiful, loving people. Why are they loving? Because they feel safe. They feel wonderful. There's a wonderful community of people that gather, and they have block parties and festivals and celebrations of seasons and do you need a ladder? Well, here, I have an extra ladder. It's for you. I'm going to give it to you because I have two. I don't need two. I just need one. Anyone that is hoarding money, where you are listening to people who have billions of dollars, $100 billion, $20 billion, is a hoarder. If you walked into a house and it was a house called, there's a show called Hoarders, and you guys are in horror. You're like, oh my God, there's trash everywhere. There's uneaten food that's been there for years. Hoarding is a sickness, isn't it? Well, what's the difference between hoarding billions in a bank account or bank accounts and having 45 homes? What's the difference between that and the other? Is it because they're dirty? Is it because they're dirty and they've hoarded everything they could, from toilet paper to tin foil to wrappers and this and that? What is the difference between that consciousness and the consciousness of billions in a bank account and having 60 Rolex watches, 20 Birkin bags, you get my 45 homes? How many fucking homes can you live in? What's one's cleaner, one's more pristine, what is the difference? It's a mental problem. Can we agree hoarding is a mental issue, isn't it? Because we certainly recognize it when it's a house or an apartment. We know how sickening, So there's actually no difference. It's just that it presents itself differently. And we've been brainwashed to accept the billionaire over the hoarder in her or his apartment. Any rebuttal on that or question?
No, not at all. And the whole point about the lies we've been told about the super rich, this idea about trickle down economics, it's a lie. There is nothing beneficial for society, either morally or financially or spiritually. There is absolutely nothing beneficial about people hoarding wealth. Why do some people have 45 houses when some people have none?
Mm-hmm.
That is not right on any level, on a planet which allows that consciousness. And back to our point about venerating those who we are told to venerate. The wealthy have become the new people that we hold up as some kind of moral arbiters. They are not. The greed, the avarice, and let's face it, you're very unlikely to become a billionaire if you're a nice guy, right? You're very unlikely to become super wealthy and hoard your wealth if you're a decent human being, because decent human beings give back. The exception is Michael Singer, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I will also say to you that I've watched people who had $1 billion give it all up. They donated to charities. I remember a guy in Canada. I think he had $1 billion to be exact. He donated everything and ended up in a studio apartment. Why? Like, donated to who? Charities like the Red Cross? Why? I mean, what I'm trying to say to you is, do you understand our responsibility? If the universe gives you that kind of wealth, which some of you could be blessed with that, blessed in that, roll up your sleeves, my friend. It's time to get to work. That's exactly what your consciousness should be. Not be. You've got lotto winners who are literally afraid to announce their lottery winning ticket, right? Because of this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, time to roll up my sleeves. I got communities to fucking build. I got shit to do, man. I got stuff to do. I'm gonna be busy. Got tons of stuff to do. I gotta set up a nonprofit. I've gotta get some of my directors. I mean, I've got to align myself with people in my community. I've got to figure out, okay, where do we go first? What do we do first? What's the most important thing? Oh, homelessness. Yeah, okay. Let's start building tiny homes, for example, right? Depending on the family size that you're looking to do, right? And there's an interviewing process. Yeah, you don't just get that shit. You earn that shit. You want communities built for homeless people who are willing to also build the community. Now they did a test in Denver, Colorado. Okay, I was telling this to Andromeda Flame, where for 1 year they gave homeless people a guaranteed income of, just get this, $1,000. Do you know what happened in 1 year? All of them had apartments. Many of them had bought themselves a car. All of them, damn near all of them were working. And they decided to extend that test because they saw the benefit of giving a guaranteed income of $1,000 a month, made people buy a car, get an apartment. Not everyone's a fuck up that's a homeless person. There's a lot of judgment. Oh, well, they're going to buy drugs if I give them money or what. Can you do this shit? Look, let me ask you this. How many of you can do the life you have with the apartment you have, house you have, sober, cold, stoned, without a joint, a glass of wine, or something else, Valium or Xanax? Straight up. How many of you? And some of you who can do it are extraordinary souls, but many of us can't. It's too fucking hard. And sometimes we need to just fucking step out for a minute. That means getting high or whatever. I mean, straight up. I knew a guy who was an electrician, brilliant, making like $100 an hour, something like that. And once a year he would do ice. I'm not, by the way, I'm not even going to condone that. Don't get me wrong. But he knew that he would fail the, P test and go to jail for 7 days. But for him, he needed that. And he did it only once a year. I'll never forget that. And I'd say, well, why don't you find something else that would be less? No, he said, that's just what I need. I just need to do it once. I can't do this stone cold sober. There's nothing else I want. I don't drink. I don't smoke pot. I don't do any of that. It's just once a year. I need to just completely fucking let go. Is this the right thing to do? No, but I bet you if you had community, if you had brothers, men, to step up and be emotionally available and yet still powerful, he probably wouldn't need to do that. But something implodes in him because he doesn't feel supported, and he has to be the man, because he was married, happily married, beautiful man, to his beautiful wife, and he needed support. We all need support, my friends. And that's why we need community, because once you have community, that no longer needs to happen. Because you can go and be hugged by someone in your community. You can be, you might need a break from your little baby, and somebody who you can trust, who's not going to harm your child, can be, it takes a village to raise children. Yeah, African saying. We need community, and we need to take it seriously, because January 2025 marks the end of this community right here online, and we're going to have to do it face to face. And so the urgency for a new president, a new system, a complete collapse of the Senate. I think the whole Senate should be completely fired on the American stage. Completely. All these OAC, all these bastards that have lied to us and told us they're going to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, well, we can't. It's very complicated. No, it's not. It's not. Because the most intense things that this country has gone through was overcome with ease. Oh God, when we went through the Depression, and we had the New Deal set up, the New Deal where all these freeways you see today was from, God, my mind just went blank. Anyway, this president understood that this concept of pulling up your own bootstrap wasn't going to work. It wasn't working. People were drowning. People were eating their shoes. Okay, Charlie Chaplin did a short movie on that. Literally eating the soles of his shoes, boiling it. It was not a joke. It was actually happening. So what I'm going to say to you is that now we're seeing children eating grass in the Middle East. Okay, so they can. Okay, so we need to understand that we have no right to shame people for seeking help and for getting help. Okay? There are some that can't do society, some that are so sensitive that we need to protect them, and they can't care for themselves, meaning they can't do a job. They just can't. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they need to train spiritually. Maybe that's what they need to do. When Paramahansa Yogananda, the author of the autobiography of a yogi, it's the beginning of the book, by the way, it's his story. And he gets a job at the post office in the 1800s in India. Okay. And he says to the postmaster, I really can't do this. Like, that's not what I just can't. I'm a spiritualist. I can't be a postman. You know what the guy does? He retires him and gives him a pension so he can actually pursue his spiritual work. And he came to this country in the 1930s and created the self-realization centers that we know and love. Do you understand? We need to be like that. We need to recognize who can't do 9 to 5 jobs, who can't do jobs, but they have other gifts to give us. How many Paramahansa Yoganandas have we lost in the last 100 years because of the cruel ways that we judge people who can't do a 9 to 5? Would you like to add to that, my love? Because I know that you have wonderful experiences as well.
Not everybody is going to be able to tolerate the societies we live in. And this is one of the most important functions of a community, because we protect them.
Exactly.
We ensure that they can express themselves. We ensure that they can pursue their creative interests. We ensure that they are safe to do that. The societies we live in do not provide that level of safety. Exactly. And therefore people can't express. Oscar Wilde talked about this in his essay, The Soul of Man Under Socialism. I know that a lot of Americans will bristle at that word.
I know.
But this is a beautiful essay that he wrote in the early 1900s, where he talked about technology in the future and how technology would emancipate humans and allow humans not to work in order to survive. Mm-hmm. That survival would be a given and humans would be free to express.
Yeah.
We haven't achieved that. There's a very good reason why we haven't achieved it, and it's because the agenda of the 1% is to keep us in fear, is to keep us down, is to remove us from the earth, is to take away our sense of safety. You can't self-actualize, you can't become creative if you're worried about putting food on the table on a daily basis. And that's the energy they keep us in.
And that's the distraction. That's the distract. How many clients have I spoke to in working for these shitty little companies, these 1-800 psychic companies, right? How many clients, young clients that I've talked to who went into law, medicine, or whatever, right? Who actually were afraid of pursuing their art, pursuing the kind of art that may have changed the world. Like Picasso's painting called War. It's the size of a fucking wall. But there are artists that we need. When I say artists, I don't just mean artists. I mean visual artists. I mean artists who create different art forms that are good and kind and loving and generous and also wake us up. Two things. One of the things I remember, John Lennon there was an art show Yoko Ono had just launched. She was like, one of these wild artists. And he said he went up a scaffold and there was a telescope and he looked through the telescope. He said he had to meet her because you know what it said in the end of the telescope? It didn't say no, it said yes. It was a booming yes. So he had to climb up this experience, look through the telescope and see this incredible positive word. He said, I had to meet the artist. And that's how he met Yoko Ono. Because he was expecting no or fuck you or fuck the system, but he saw yes. And so we need artists who heal us in giving us experiences that are beautiful. And if you've noticed, they have shamed us as people when the Guggenheim had a show in New York of a man with a dog collar, right? Eating this, I think it was in the early 2000s actually, where he was pooping like a dog, peeing like a dog, nude, and that was a Guggenheim show of art. Now you and I both know that that's not art, that's bullshit. It's actually abusive. It was actually traumatic. Children would actually, schools were being brought, school buses were coming in to show this particular show. Why they would bring kids to that, I don't know, but again, the system is out to fuck our children, let's be honest. But anyway, so they brought, and these kids were traumatized. Finally, after I think 2 months, they removed the show. Okay? But then the same art, same type, a different art. It was erotic art from Picasso, line drawings of erotica from Picasso that was coming out of Paris. They didn't even attempt to bring it to New York. They actually rerouted their trip to Canada. They said, fuck New York. Because New York's going to give us shit over, can you imagine, erotica. So they're showing deviant S&M behavior, which they're calling art, right? Guy and with a dog collar and so forth. And, but real erotica is something that could actually teach people the beautiful aspect of sensuality of our human incarnations. And that was never going to be shown in a New York museum. Think about why you go to Europe and you see nude statues in Rome in the piazzas, and you see Neptune naked, full on fucking naked. No fig leaves allowed. Women, nymphs, this, that. The human body being celebrated in all its magnificence, and what kind of consciousness that brings about, almost a sense, a self-realization. My temple is so beautiful. And they all say, oh my God, we go to Europe and they eat like horses, but my God, they're all slim. Most of them are slim and they're beautiful and they're healthy and we don't allow these things here because of, you could use the example of puritanical philosophies, but really it's by design. It's because if you're not exposed to that, then you're not comfortable with your body. I'll never forget, a girlfriend of mine told me her mother-in-law got a lamp of a nude bust of a woman and crocheted a vest. I fucking almost spat my tea out through my nose. I went, wait, hang on. There was a lamp with she crocheted a vest to cover a nude bust of a lamp? Why didn't she just sell the lamp? Do you see the mentality of people? And that is by design, and we are a social experiment. Every country is a social experiment, every single one of us. And they use religion as a way to divide and conquer. They do it by design, and then it goes down. I mean, I can't express all of it because I'm not David Icke. I know David Icke knows the absolute minutia breakdown of what it is, of what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it and what the end results will cause and what kind of harm will end up reverberating throughout our generations. And don't forget, if you don't feel worthy of going into 5D, you will reincarnate back into 3D, into another generation that's been fucked over. It might not be a European bloodline that you go into. It could be an African one. It could be a Persian one. It could be whatever, right? And here you are dealing with the debacle of what was left behind by past generations. It's the level that we are finally able to see individually and collectively is so magnificent. What a breath of fresh air. And you just need to plow through this. It's almost like there's a narrow passageway, and you just need to take breaths, take a break, journal, meditate, and please, I'm begging you, create your environment, create your community, meet at cafe houses, go to a museum, go hiking together, do something for Christ's sake, but don't keep communicating through the internet. If you guys live 5 hours away from each other, yeah, make the effort to meet for the weekend, camping, whatever, however, but please start doing that with each other, for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Building community and reclaiming human contact.
Yeah. Yeah, because they did a study on fleas, and they put fleas in a jar for 3 days. Did you ever see that? It's on the internet. You can see it. So they put fleas in a jar, covered the jar over, right? So let's say the jar was 3 inches tall, and then they found that the fleas would never go above the ceiling of the jar, and subsequently generations of fleas would not go above the 3 inches. It would never hop out of the glass, the jar, whatever. We're talking about fucking fleas. So imagine what's been done to us. And so you're damn right there's a spiritual attack. You're damn right you've got different spirits that are malevolent. Good spirits would never harm you. They would never come onto a Ouija board and fuck with you. They would never do things. But be aware, there are tarot readers, psychics, mediums, charlatans, remote viewers that are not working for the light. So don't be, like, use your heart coherence and really discriminate, like, feel it, like, don't explain it to yourself. Just, how does it feel? It feels yucky. Okay, well, that's it. Well, don't go excavating why it feels yucky. That's your answer. It feels yucky. Good. Go. Don't talk to that person. Don't do ayahuasca with that person. Don't do a reading with that person. Just move on. Just go. Don't try to analyze, why do I feel that about that person? That's a massive waste of time, right?
Yeah, this is the whole point about heart coherence, isn't it? Bringing it back to chakra work. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't question your intuition, but ask your heart, what does it feel like? Are you having a physical reaction to this person or this situation? Because that tells you something, And we were talking about the other day. We were talking about meeting your twin for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And if, for those of you who have met your twin, you remember the intense physical reaction you had to meeting your twin for the first time.
Yeah.
And how it felt familiar and right and safe and beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you contrast it to meeting somebody for the first time, and you don't know why, but you just don't get a good feeling.
Yeah.
And then you gaslight yourself and you second guess yourself and you tell yourself, no, I'm just being a bitch. I'm just, I'm just being mean.
Yeah.
And then they always prove that your initial impression was correct. Don't gaslight yourself, but learn discernment, learn heart coherence.
And you do that through meditation.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know that your monkey minds might be, you've been taught, again, by the powers that be, there's a lot of arrogance in spirituality. Okay. So you'll have people teaching, oh, you need to empty your mind. Who the fuck? Listen, no one's mind is empty. Good luck. Okay, that means you're a yogini, and you're not a yogini. Neither am I. You will sit in meditation, and your monkey mind will fucking. I mean, it literally is a monkey going from one tree to another branch to another, swinging from vine, thought to thought to thought to thought. This is why you chant a mantra, to control and train the monkey mind, to make it sit. At some point, you will have 2 minutes of silence. I kid you not, it will happen. It's happened to me. Eckhart Tolle said he's had 2 hours of silence. I believe him, totally believe him. But I've had 2 minutes of silence. And then the minute I go, oh my God, I've been silent, there goes the monkey mind, right? But trust that you are no more or less powerful than your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
In other words, if you look up to someone, know that you are also that. Know that what you admire is you. You are seeing a reflection of yourself. Now, that sounds very mumbo jumbo, spiritual bullshit, but actually, it is true. It's like the sequoia trees up in the northeast, the northwest, excuse me, the northwest. In the northwest, there are sequoia trees that are on the same root system. They drink from the same root system. That is us. There's no argument on that truth. And so what you admire is you. What you detest is also shadows of you. Could be past lives. Something came up where somebody said to me, I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a twin. And he said, I really want to understand Satan. I feel sorry for Satan. Well, let me ask you this. Do you really want to go into the brain of a serial killer? No. Why would you want to know? Well, why would they do that? Why would they? Well, what's going on in their eyes? There's a particular guy right now who's got tattoos all over his face, and it's got a little swastika, just bullshit. And people are trying to figure out what he's. Who gives a fuck? Why would you want to know? What would propel someone to do that? Why don't you find out what made Yeshua Yeshua? Why don't you find out? You want to really understand somebody? Understand yourself. Understand why your mother or father couldn't show up for you the way they did. Now that's a good excavation. But to excavate a serial killer or a Satanist or a Satan lover or Satan himself, why? Why would you do that? Why don't you find out what makes Archangel Michael, who he is? What do you get what I'm saying? Like, choose your right potions, choose the right intentions, choose your focus. Don't go down some rabbit hole of bullshit to find out why Charles Manson did all he did. Why did he do that? And what was he thinking? Who gives a fuck? I'm more interested in finding out what made Saint Germain go into the court of Versailles, okay, and show that he was an alchemist. And suddenly, out of nowhere, he disappeared. Well, why did he go to the court of Versailles? What was that about? Well, who could I read about who actually was an intimate of Saint Germain, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and there is something to be said for confronting your own shadows, right? And
yeah,
and confronting parts of yourself that are dark, and maybe you don't want people to know about them. There is something to be said for that. But when you're meditating on energies, always focus on what you do want, not what you don't want, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be evil. Nobody wants to be cruel. Well, unless you're a sociopath, right?
Yeah.
But nobody wants that. Focus on what you do want. Focus on the energies that bring you light and love and enjoyment and compassion, and the energies that will enhance your ability to be compassionate and loving and honest.
Exactly. And when people are healthy, physically healthy, there was a Black Plague. You guys know that, right? It was because people they were emotionally and physically unhealthy. Emotionally unhealthy because they did certain things, like they ended up offing all the cats, right? I don't know if you guys know that. That's what one of the many causes of the Black Plague was they were offing cats like idiots. And of course the rat population exploded and there was the Black Plague. Okay, so imagine when we are in the light, we won't have sociopath. Just like you and I, we have never experienced the Black Plague. We won't in our generation. We won't in next generations. We haven't in hundreds of years. because the cause of the black plague was removed. When we remove darkness, when we are now in our light, we will not be birthing sociopaths, psychopaths. It will no longer be part of our history and our experiences. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, isn't that just action, reaction, cause and effect? Doesn't that make sense? So when you focus on what you want, you are actually causing a massive regeneration of cell, of somatic, spiritual, emotional, so that we won't have serial killers. We won't, that will no longer be part of our reality. Isn't that obvious? Right?
Yeah,
Any, yeah.
yeah. Don't focus. Don't focus on. Like, we're trying to build a new Earth, all right, and we're not going to have like cruelty, deliberate cruelty,
Oh,
conscious cruelty, if one can call it that.
yeah,
We're not going to have that in 5D consciousness. So why focus on it? Focus on what is 5D consciousness.
exactly. Exactly. So don't try to understand the devil, understand God. Don't try to understand those who follow the devil. Focus on the avatars, because you are one step away from being an avatar in your own right, if not this planet, other planets. And I really don't understand why that's hard to accept. There's nothing arrogant about it, because before Yeshua was Yeshua and Mary Magdalene was Mary Magdalene, they had to do multiple things throughout incarnations to prepare to become who they are, which is what you're doing, which is what I'm doing, what Andromeda Flame is doing. We're all doing that. We're all avatars in the making. And that's not kumbaya, let's buy a t-shirt. It's just, again, common sense, right?
Yeah.
And so it's your worthiness that worries me. What worries me about many of you are loving and fantastic. But the minute you drop your body and you're able to, it worries me about my twin, is his ability to feel enough self-forgiveness to cross the river to 5D. The nicest people, straight up, aren't going to make it. Nice as pie. They don't feel worthy. And that not feeling worthy is what will prevent you from crossing that river to 5D. You see what I'm saying? It's not how nice you are, it's how because when you the universe, that because you love yourself, you have the capacity to love others. Loving yourself in a non-arrogant way, loving yourself in a very pure divine way is not the same as arrogantly loving yourself, right? This is not narcissism. It's a false love. It's a veneer, and it's an illusion. But when you love yourself in a beautiful way, or parts of yourself, and you feel worthy of ascending, there's no problem. You'll ascend. It'll be so effortless. It'll be like taking your next breath without even a second thought. You won't have to concentrate on it. You'll be in 3D, 4D, boom, 5D. Here I am, and you won't be going back. Anyway, anything final thoughts, my love?
No, I think you said it all.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Andromeda, for leading a beautiful guided meditation. We're going to upload this on YouTube sometime in a few hours, whenever it's, downloaded from TikTok. Any last thoughts, you guys? Anything out there that you want to share before we sign off? Thank you, Jennifer. Also, you may want to follow not just Andromeda Flame, obviously that's it, but there's Holy Trinity 369. He goes really, really deep in all kinds of wonderful things, esoteric things. Thank you both for sharing your wisdom. Thank you very much for being generous, all of you. And so just remember, if you are lucky enough to have $100 million, $177 billion, don't panic. There's a lot of work to be done. You've just been handed something by the universe as a trustworthy person. It's a big honor. Why me? Because maybe you have the consciousness to do the work, to roll up your sleeves. So I just want you to know how fortunate we are to know you and how honored we feel. Thank you so much. Love you both. Thank you for this. I truly needed it today. I'm so glad. So glad. All right, sending you much love on your journey. We will upload this. Namaste. Be well. Take care.